Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. A very warm welcome to this Monday, 16th February 2026 morning Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. Today we are going to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, titled The Status Quo, Chapter 13, entitled The Appearance of Varaha, Text 31. Before we discuss on this verse, let's sing Jai Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Shri Radhe. Jai Nittai Sachinandana, Nittai Sachinandana, Nittai Sachinandana, Gaura Hari. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivjakacharya Shrodra Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila S.K. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, नामाचार्य श्री हरदास ठाकुर की जय, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, मथुरा धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, यमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, सामवेद भक्तवृंद की जय. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtabhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu Krishna Matirastu. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are going to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 13, The Appearance of Varadeva, Text 31. Swadam Shrayodhratya Mahim Nimagnam Sauthai Samrurucheras Rasaya Tatrapi Daityam Gadaya Patantam Sunabha Sandipta Tivra Manyuhu Swadam Shrayodhritya Mahim Nimagnam Sarsamruruchirasaya tatrapi daityam gadaya patantam sunavasandiptativramanyuhu swadam strayudhrityamahim nimagnam sauthai samruruchirasaya tatrapi daityam gadaya patantam sunavasandiptativramanyuhu. Word by word. Damstraya, by his own tusks. Udhritya, raising. Mahim, the earth. Nimagnam, submerged. Saha, he. Uthitaha, getting up. Samruruche, appeared very splendid. Rasayaha, from the water. Tatra, there. Api, also. Daityam, onto the demon. Gadaya, with the club. Apatantam, rushing towards him. Sunabha, the wheel of Krishna. Sandipta, glowing. Tivra, fierce. Manyuh, anger. Translation. Lord Boar very easily took the earth on his tusks and got it out of the water. Thus he appeared very splendid. Then his anger glowing like the Sudarshana wheel, he immediately killed the demon Hiranyaksha, although he tried to fight with the Lord. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, the Vedic literatures describe the incarnation of Lord Varaha, Boar, in two different devastations, namely the Chakshusha devastation and the Swayambhuva devastation. This particular appearance of the boar incarnation actually took place in the Swayambhuva devastation, when all planets other than the higher ones, Jana, Mahar and Satya, merged in the water of devastation. This particular incarnation of the boar was seen by the inhabitants of the planets mentioned above. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur suggests that the sage Maitreya amalgamated both the boar incarnations in different devastations and summarized them in his description to Vedura. Before we discuss on this verse, let us offer some prayers. Om Jnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Shreshtam Manamapi Shachiputram Matra Swarupam Rupam Tasyakracham Murupurim Madhurim Goshthavati Radha Kundam Girivaram Maho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yuda Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Adadandastranam Dante Damyacha Punah Punah Shriman Rupa Padambhojam Dhulisyam Janma Janmani He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we are going to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 13, Text 31. Swadam Strayudhratyamahim Nimagnam Sauthir Samru Ruchirasaya Tatrapi Daityam Gadaya Patantam Sunabha Sandipta Tivramanyuhu. Lord Boar very easily took the earth on his tusks and got it out of the water. Thus he appeared very splendid. Then, his anger glowing like the Sudarshana wheel, he immediately killed the demon Hiranyaksha, although he tried to fight with the Lord. So this is a very divine and divya. This is the Janma karmam cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvata tyaktva deham punarjanmam naiti mameti savarjana. So this is a divine pastime of Krishna. Ramadi murti shukala niyamena tishtan nanavatar makaro bhuvaneshu kintu Krishna swayam samabhava parama pumanyo Govinda madi purusham tamaham bhajami. This is that verse in Brahma Samhita where all the incarnations of Krishna are they're not directly, each and every incarnation is not directly mentioned, but Rama Adi Murtishu. So starting from Sri Ram onwards, and all the other Murtishu. Murti means form. This is, the Lord has got transcendental forms, and all these forms are transcendental. They have nothing to do with matter. This is the difference between the impersonal philosophy and the personal philosophy. Advaita and Dvaita. Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu propounds. This simultaneously one and different. That means the living entities are in a very minute proportion having the same qualities as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but not full all the qualities. So this is the difference. And this is Ajopi san navyayatma bhutanam isharopi san prakritim swam adhishtaya sambhavam atma mayaya. So this is Krishna. He can appear in whatever form he wants to appear. That is his prerogative. This is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is Swarat, totally independent. So this is what is Janmadhyasya yataha anvayad itaratascha artheshu abhignyas Swarat. So this is the first verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is mentioning that everything is emanating from Krishna. Janmadi asya yataha. From whom it is emanating. Athato Brahma Jignasa. In the Brahma Sutra, the first aphorism is, now is the time to understand who is Brahman. Brahmano hi pratishtaham amritasya vyayasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya ikantikasya cha. As Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, the Brahman is based on him. And what is this Brahman? That's why Krishna is Parabrahma. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan, Purusham, Shashvatam, Divyam, Adidevam, Ajam, Vibhum. Ahostam, Rishesh, Sarva, Devarshir, Naradas, Tatha, Asita, Devalo, Vyaso, Swayam, Chaiva, Bravishi me. So Krishna, this is Arjuna's, when Arjuna sees the universal form of Krishna, he is constantly glorifying Krishna. And one of the things that he says is Param Brahma. You are the Supreme Brahman, Param Dhama. You are the Supreme Abode. Pavitram, you are the purest, Paramam Bhavan. You are the Supreme Person. Purusham, you are the actual original person from whom everyone else is emanating. Shashvatam, you are eternal. Divyam, you are the divine person. Adi Devam, you are the beginning of all the other demigods. Ajam, you are unborn, and Vibhum, you are the greatest. So this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no natat samascha abhyatikascha drishyate parasya shaktir vividhaiva shriyate swabhaviki jnana balakriyacha natasya karanam karanam cha vidyate. The Supreme Personality of Godhead does not have any cause, but he is the cause of all causes. Sarva karana karanam. This is extremely important to understand. When we very clearly understand that Krishna, all the activities of Krishna is divine, Janma karmam cha me divyam. If we look at this Varaha avatar, the incarnation of as a boar, if we unfortunately look at it from the perspective of material boar, then one might think that why did the Lord incarnate like this? That this is the Lord's prerogative, that He can incarnate as whatever form He wants. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sambhavamyatma mayaya. So He mama maya duratyaya. So the material energy is under His control. Not only material energy, even the spiritual energy. So there is Yoga Maya and Mahamaya. So Yoga Maya is the spiritual potency of Krishna, the Antaranga Shakti. And then there is Bahiranga Shakti, the external energy, which is Mahamaya. And both the energies are under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is an energetic person. And this living entities like us are Tatastha Shakti. So we are a combination of the internal energy and external energy of the Lord. That's why we call the marginal potency. So everything is either the internal potency or the external potency or the marginal potency. Everything in the whole universe. So in that sense, Maya tatam idam sarvam. Krishna says, everything is based on me. Jagad avyakta murtina. Avyakta murtina. It's actually avyakta. Avyakta is that which is not present in a sense of the divine revealing itself. That is, if one has to have that jnana chakshusha, this eye of transcendental knowledge. Only through the vision of transcendental knowledge, one is able to see that the Lord is present everywhere. Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mayi pashyati tasya ham na pranashyami sacha me na pranashyati. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that one who sees everything in me and me in everything, such a person is never lost to me and I am never lost to such a person. So this is that reciprocal relationship of love. Prema pumartho mahan. So when this love is strong, and this love is what we are composed of. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabonai. Shravana Adi Shuddha Chitte Koroy Uday. So it is mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that this Krishna Prema, this love for Krishna, it's a Nitya Siddha. It's eternally perfected, eternally obtained. It's not that at certain point in time I am going to get Krishna Prema. No. Krishna Prema is present with me at this particular moment. So why am I not in that state of pure ecstatic bliss where I'm totally connected with Krishna at every moment? That is because there is Hridayantastohi abhadrani. Because since time immemorial, Anadi Bahirmukha Jeev. Since time immemorial, the living entity is Bahirmukha, facing away from Krishna. This living entity, Jiva. Anadi Bahirmukha Jeev, Krishna Bhuli Gela, Atev Krishna Ved Puran Karela. So it is mentioned in the scripture that since time immemorial, because the living entity has been facing away from Krishna, Krishna has introduced through Veda Vyasa, the Vedas and Puranas. And Veda Vyasa is the literary incarnation of the Lord. So this is the wonderful nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He, although the living entity is since time immemorial, trying to not be in connection with Krishna, Krishna, through his costless mercy, is constantly trying to bring the living entities back to him. This is that Tesham Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadhami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mam Upayanti Te. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that who? Tesham, those people. Who are those people? Satata Yuktanam. They are constantly in connection with me. And what are they doing while they are connected with me? Bhajatam. They are rendering loving devotion service unto me. How are they rendering loving devotion service? Priti Purvakam. With full love. That love is not, it cannot be explained through any means. Just in order to understand as a metaphor, one of the examples given is that of the love that the mother has for the child. That kind of love is very pure. Mother is always thinking about the child's welfare and not expecting anything back in return. That's a pure love. So this is what we have for Krishna, and Krishna has for us. It is something that is unfathomable. We cannot, and that's why it is called Prema Pumartho Mahan. This love for Krishna is something that is, so that is Chatur Purusharthas that are mentioned. Chatur Purusharthas are the four pillars of human life on which a human life should be based. They are called the Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Religiosity, economic development, sense gratification and liberation. So these are the four pillars on which the human form of life is based. So the last pillar is moksha. But mukti swayam mukulitanjali sevate asman dharmartha kamagataya samaya pratiksha. So the Bilva Mangala Thakur mentions bhakti stvai bhagavata bhagwan yadi syad daivena na phalati divya kishora murti mukti swayam mukulitanjali sevate asmat dharmartha kamagataya samaya pratiksha. So what that verse's meaning is, when one has got that pure love for Krishna, which one already has, it's a matter of just uncovering it. Shravana Adi Shuddha Chitte. When one has got this inclination to hear about Krishna, then the Chitta becomes Shuddha. Chitta is that consciousness. So consciousness by itself is totally unaffected. But because the covering of different material attachments are there, one feels as if the consciousness is impure. But actually consciousness is always pure. It is untouched by anything else. So what is impure is the thought process that one has, which is the mind. So that's why mana eva manushyanam karanam moksha bandhanai bandhaya vishayasanga mokshaya nirvishayam mana. It is mentioned in the scriptures that mind itself is a cause of bondage and mind itself is a cause of liberation. The mind which is attached to the sense objects is in bondage, and the mind detached from sense objects is in liberation. So this liberation, this is what is Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Ahaitukam. It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam that when there is Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga, one has got that loving devotional service to Vasudeva, son of Vasudeva, Sri Krishna. Bhakti Yoga Prayojita, based on the love for Krishna. Vasudeva, son of Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I offer my respectful obeisances to son of Vasudeva, Sri Krishna Vasudeva. So when there is Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janeti Ashu Vairagya. It is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam that this renunciation immediately happens when there is love for the Lord. Jnanam Chayat Ahaitukam. And one gets that transcendental knowledge which has no cause. Ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. Savai pumsam paro dharmo. It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. What is the topmost religious activity for all the living entities? Yato bhaktir adhokshaje. That is loving devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead who cannot be seen by the blunt material eyes. Adha krita akshaja. Akshaja is eyes, and one who cannot be seen by the blunt material eyes. So how can the Lord be seen? Premanjana chorita bhakti vilochanena. When one anoints one's eyes with the salve of love for the Lord, then Santas Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayati. Then that saintly person is constantly seeing the Lord everywhere. This is the goal of human form of life. Yena tena prakarena mana krishne niveshayet. Sarve vidhi nishedasyur etayor eva kinkara. So it is mentioned by Srila Rupa Goswami. He says that some way or the other fix the mind on Krishna. All the other rules and regulations are subservient to this main rule. That main rule is some way or the other we have to fix the mind on Krishna. And is it difficult to fix the mind on Krishna? It depends on the person. So if the person has got this understanding that everything is coming from Krishna, then naturally one will be attached to Krishna. This is what Krishna says, aham sarvasya prabhava matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Krishna says that aham sarvasya prabhava, that everything is coming from me. Matta sarvam pravartate iti matva. One who knows this, what does such a person do? Bhajante mam, engages in loving devotional service to me. Who is such a person? Buddha, very intelligent person. How does such a person engage in devotional service? Bhava samanvita. So this bhava is that emotional attachment to the Lord. That emotional attachment, bhava grahi janardana. Krishna, the only thing that he wants is our emotional attachment towards him. That is something that we can voluntarily and lovingly offer to Krishna. Everything else is actually Krishna's. In certain sense, our emotions are also it is the if we look at the word sarva karana karana, the cause of all causes. Any kind of cause, the cause of that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. So indirectly, emotions and everything is also Krishna's. But emotion is something that that makes us attached to things. That is what emotion is. So why, for example, the parent-child relationship, why is it so strong? Because the emotions are very strong in that relationship. In a sense, the existence of child is based on the parents, at least from the material perspective. Spiritual perspective, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is aham bija pradap pita. Krishna says, sarva yonishu kaunteya murteya sambhavantiya tasam brahma mahad yonir. Brahma mahad yonir. So the yoni is the mother. And Krishna is using the word Brahma. So Brahmano hi pratishtaham amritasya veyasacha. So it is the material energy of the Lord. And here we see in this incarnation, this is a very beautiful verse where the actual appearance of Varahadeva is very beautifully mentioned. Swadamshra Yodhritya Mahim Nimagnam. So Varahadeva had that tusk, very beautiful tusks, which is very. So this Varahadeva, the Lord, the boar incarnation of Krishna, is transcendently beautiful, even though externally he is appearing as a Varaha, as a boar, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this is the wonderful nature of Krishna. The divine beauty is explicitly seen in all his incarnations. Like after this incarnation, the Lord is going to take the Narasimha incarnation to kill Hiranyaksha's brother Hiranyakashipu. And so it is another form where there is half lion and half man. The top part is lion's part and the bottom part is man's part. So this is ferocious in that sense. We see that it's a very wonderful transcendental pastime of Narsimhadev. He is incarnating to fulfill the boon of Hiranyakashipu. What do we mean by fulfill the boon? Because Hiranyakashipu said that I should not be killed either by a man or an animal, or I should not be killed neither in day nor night. I should not be killed by weapons, or he was ensuring so many different ways of not getting, of having an eternal life within the material existence. And this is unfortunately a fallacy. Within the material existence, the whole basis of material existence is that there is constant creation and dissolution. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. So not only that constant creation and destruction, not only does it happen at the micro level, if you want to say micro as at the level of the living entities, like even if you look at the bacteria and all this amoeba and all those different living entities which cannot be seen by our normal eyes. You need to have microscope and so many different other instruments to see those kind of living entities. Every living entity, microorganism to the largest living entity, has got punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, constantly in the cycle of birth and death. And also at the macrocosm level, which is at the level of the universe, there is constantly creation and dissolution. And this is the nature of material existence. This is what na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sata. Ubhayaropi drishtantastva nayos tattvadarshibhi, as Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. He says that na asata vidyate bhavo. So what is asat? Asat means that which is temporary, that which is not permanent. So that which is temporary does not have an enduring existence. Vidyate bhavo. Na abhavo vidyate sata. And what is permanent can never go out of existence. So it's a very wonderful creation that the Lord has created, where our external is totally constantly changing, and our internal is changeless. There is no change at all. It is Sat, Chit and Ananda. Sat means always existing. It is never going out of existence. And it is constant. There is no change. So that is Sat. Chit is consciousness. Consciousness is the basis on which every other incidents are happening. So if consciousness goes out of my body, this body is going to disintegrate. And it has no existence in that sense. The different Panchabhuta, it is called, right? The 5 different elements on which this body exists. Bhumi, Apa, Anala, Vayu, Kham, Mana, Buddhi and Ahankar. So this Bhinna Prakritir Ashtadha, Krishna says these are my 8 separated energies. So there's earth, water, fire, air and space. That's what this body is made up of. The gross body. And then the subtle body is Mana, Buddhi and Ahankar. So the mind, intelligence and false ego. So all these different ingredients, which is the separated energies of Krishna, and it is also called in a sense an inferior energy, because these energies by itself, they do not have consciousness in that sense. But when the consciousness is coming, it arranges everything in such a way, all the separated energies in such a way that they come and they become a united energy instead of a separated. So basically, the earth part, the water part, the air part, the fire part, and the space part are all somehow or other very intelligently coming together and forming the body. This is the wonderful creation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is undergoing constant change. When it is by being created, it is, of course, it is created. So there is a date of birth. And at a certain point, because there is date of birth, there has to be a point of destruction or disintegration. So that is the date of death. So Janma and Mrityu. And between Janma and Mrityu, there is Jara and Vyadhi. Jara is old age, Vyadhi is diseases. So Vyadhi and Jara we can say in that order as well, because Vyadhi would come first, Jara would come later. So Vyadhi is different kinds of afflictions, both physical and mental. And this is a really unfortunate situation. This is what is Adhyatmik, Adhibhautik and Adhidaivik. It is mentioned in the scriptures about the three different kinds of difficulties that one faces in the material existence. One is coming from one's own body and mind, another is coming from other living entities, Adhibhautik, and the third is something that is sometimes called the act of God, which is divine, like very serious natural disturbances, which is unfortunately happening more nowadays. So this flooding and famine and extreme snowfall and all these different tornadoes and different calamities. So this is Adi Daivik. Adhyatmik is that which is coming from my own body and my own mind. So this is what is the three different types of afflictions. And when one is in this material existence, it is as sure as anything else, as death, as they say, that these afflictions do come and has an effect on the material existence. But what happens to our eternal unborn nature? Eternal unborn nature always remains unaffected by all these changes. That we are. Tattvam Asi. And that is what is mentioned in the scriptures. Aham Brahmasmi. That is we are all an eternal part and parcel of Krishna. And Krishna is Parabrahma, the Supreme Brahman, Paramatma. And so if we are all Atmas, Krishna is Paramatma. So this is what Aham Atma Guda Kesha Sarva Bhutashaya Sthita Aham Adishcha Madhyam Cha Bhutanam Antameva Cha. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that he is Atma also, because Atma is his internal potency, the internal energy of the Lord. Sarva Bhutashaya Sthita, present in all the living entities. Aham Adishcha Madhyam Cha. Krishna says, I am the beginning, I am the middle, Aham Adishcha Madhyam Cha, Bhutanam Antameva Cha. And I am the end of the living entities also. So this is the all-pervading nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when we wonderfully try and keep our mind absorbed in these transcendental pastimes of Krishna, then the goal of human form of life is achieved. Even for a second, if we can get totally absorbed, that 1 second can become 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute. And then there will come a time when the mind is so much focused that the time one comes above the limitations of space and time. Because this material existence is based on the limitation of time and space because of the localized aspect of my existence. But this is what is when Krishna achedyohem addahyohem akledyo ashoshevacha nitya sarvagata sthanur achaloyam sanatana. Krishna mentions about our eternal existence. When he talks about our eternal existence, we as an eternal part and parcel of Krishna, which is actually our original existence. Everything else is temporary. Everything else feels as if this is the only reality, but the actual reality gets hidden. This is the unfortunate nature of material existence, where one thinks that what is so this is what is na sato vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate sata. So what is actually real, one is never seeing it, and what is constantly changing, one is constantly seeing it. This is the material existence. But what is spiritual existence? In spiritual existence, one is constantly seeing what is constant, and one knows that what is changing will always change. So one is not really, this is what is dhiras tatra na muhyati. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita. Dehi nosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tatha dehantaram praptir dhiras tatra na muhyati. Krishna says, because there is proprietor of the body within the body, there is childhood, youth and old age. Kaumaram yavanam jara. And then Krishna says, tatha dehantaram prapti. Similarly, when whatever work that needs to be done through the medium of this body has been done, there is deha antara. So the end of this particular body is going to happen. Dhiras tatra na muhyati. Dhira is a sober person, therefore tatra na muhyati, gets bewildered by these changes. So this is the goal of human form of life. And when we look at this swadamshra yodhritya mahim nimagnam, so this particular scene is where the Bhumi Devi, the personification of this material world, is submerged in the Garbhodaka ocean, and then the Lord incarnates as Varaha, the boar incarnation, coming from the nostrils of Brahma, because Brahma is breathing the Vedas, and Lord boar incarnation Varaha has also come to protect the Vedas as well. Directly protection of the Vedas through the means of killing Hiranyaksha. So it's really interesting. The name Hiranyaksha. Hiranya means gold and Aksha means the eyes. So the eyes which are seeing the external gold and trying to unnecessarily exploit those resources without having compassion for other living entities. So this is unfortunately the nature of the demons. Namam dushkritino mudha prapadyante naradhama maya parita jnana asurim bhavam ashrita. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, he describes about the people who never surrender unto him. Namam prapadyante, those people who never surrendered unto me. Unfortunately, who are those kind of people? Dushkritina, the people who are always unfortunately committing sinful activities. Kriti is activity, sukriti is good activities, pious activities, and dushkriti is impious activities, sinful activities. So Krishna says, Namam prapadyante. These people do not surrender unto me. Who are these kind of people? What is the main fundamental state of existence? Dushkriti. They are impious, they are sinful. And who are those four categories? Namam prapadyante. Namam dushkritino mudha. Unfortunately, in a foolish state of existence. Why foolish state? Because one is considering something that is impermanent to be permanent. This is what is that wonderful conversation between Yudhishthira and Yamraj, his father, who's who is there in the form of Yaksha. And the Yaksha asks, what is the most surprising thing in this whole universe? So then Yudhishthira replies, Ahani ahani bhutani gachanti yamalayam sheshasthavaram ichanti atashcharya kim param. Atah ashcharya kim param. What is more surprising than this? What? Ahani ahani bhutani gachanti yamalayam. At every moment, some person or the other is leaving their bodies, are dying. Sheshasthavaram ichanti. But the remaining people are always thinking that I want to be here forever. So, Atah Ashcharya Kim Param. What is more wonderful than this? So this is the unfortunate situation of this material existence. And why is this thinking coming? This thinking is coming because originally I am eternal. If I do not consider myself as the body made up of the earth, water, fire, air, and space, and the mind, intelligence, false ego, which is my subtle body, if I, just for a moment, I relinquish that I am that, then what I am is eternal. I am never born, I am never die. So this is my original nature, and therefore, obviously, because that is my original nature, I try to project that original nature onto my things that are temporary. And this is the reason. And not only that, when one is getting a particular type of body, the attachment to that body is paramount. The whole consciousness thinks that if this is gone, then I am gone. But that is not the truth. This is that adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnana artha darshanam etad jnanam iti proktam yadato adhyanam anyatha. As Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, he says that the real knowledge is adhyatma jnana. Adhyatma is, there is understanding of my nature which is unborn. And because it is unborn, it is not going to die. It is never going to go out of existence. So this is me. And everyone, each and every living entity can say that they are eternal, because they are. It's not that they. It's something that is there is a dream or something like that. Unfortunately, the actual dream is this material existence. And this is the topsy-turvy nature of this material existence. Urdhva moolam adha shaka. Ashwatham prahuravayam chandam siyasya parnani yastam vedasa vedavid. As Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, this material existence is like a tree whose roots are at the top and the branches are at the bottom. Where do we see such a tree? In a reflection. If you are in a pond, in front of a pond or a lake, there is a tree, and the tree is getting reflected on the lake. The roots will be at the top and the branches will be at the bottom. So this is Urdhva Moolam Adha Shakha. Ashwatham Prahuravyayam. It is, in a sense, Avyaya. Avyaya means it is always there. How is it always there? Because there is the cycle of constant creation and destruction is constantly happening. Because of that, it is Avyaya in that sense. It is not Avyaya in the sense that it doesn't change. It is constantly changing, actually. So this is the nature of this material existence. And when we can focus on these verses, it is helping us to understand our original nature as an eternal part and parcel of Krishna. So here, this particular verse, Svadamshtra Yodhritya Mahim Nimagnam. So the Bhumi Devi is submerged, and the Lord is taking the Bhumi Devi between his tusks. Very beautiful. Between his two tusks, the Bhumi Devi is situated. Sauthay Samruruche Rasaya. He is getting up from that submerged ocean, and he is rescuing Bhumi Devi. So this is a wonderful pastime of Varahadeva, the boar incarnation of Krishna. Sauthita samruruche rasayaha tatrapi daityam gadaya patantam. Then there api also daityam, onto the demon, gadaya, through his club, apatantam, rushing towards him. So this is what is paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. Both the things are simultaneously happening here. So the sadhunam, Bhumi Devi, the personification of the earth planet, he is rescuing her from the Garbhodaka ocean, and then he is also at the same time vinashaya cha dushkritam. He has got the club in his transcendental hands, boar hands, and he is running after Hiranyaksha. Tatraipa. So this is that tatrapi daityam gadaya patantam sunabha sandipta tivra manyo. Sunabha. So this is translated by Srila Prabhupada as the wheel of Krishna. So that is Sudarshana Chakra. So Sudarshana Chakra is that wonderful servitor of Krishna who is constantly protecting the devotees and constantly going after the Dushkriti people. The Dushkriti, we did not discuss the four: Modha, Naradhama, Maya, Bharata, Jnana, and Asuram Bhavam Ashritam. So Modha is unfortunately in a foolish state of existence. Naradhama is lowest among mankind. Maya, Bharata, Jnana is the living entities whose intelligence has been taken away by the material energy of the Lord. And Asuram Bhavam Ashrita are the category of living entities who are in a demoniac state of existence. So unfortunately, Hiranyaksha was nearly in the quality of all the four. Lowest among the mankind, and even Asuram Bhavam Ashrita fits him directly. He's in a state of totally antagonistic towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotees. He's totally against. He's totally causing trouble to them. This is unfortunately the nature of the demon. The devotees are Titikshava Karunika Suhridam Sarvadehinam Ajata Shatrava Shanta Sadhavo Sadhubhushanam. It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam about what are the qualities of a devotee. Titikshava. They have patience. They are forgiving. Karunika. They have got causeless mercy for all the living entities. Suhridam Sarvadehina. They are the best friend of all the living entities. Ajata Shatrava. From their perspective, no enemy exists. So enemy has never been born for them. Shanta, totally peaceful. So what are these five qualities? Titikshava, Karunika, Suhridam, Sarvadehinam, Ajata Shatrava, Shanta. The five qualities. These are the Sadhavo Sadhu Bhushanam. They are like the ornamental jewels of a person who is totally surrendered unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the nature. It's really unfortunate for someone who is so forgiving, so compassionate, so friendly to everyone, who is Ajata Shatrava Shanta, so peaceful. So someone who has got all these nice qualities, which are auspicious qualities, this is what is Shivadam Tapatrayan Molanam. So Shiva means auspiciousness. So someone who is totally auspicious, was totally in that state of existence, and then you have the totally other category of living entity who is unfortunately always in a state of agitation, and that agitation is so much that it spills out of oneself and it goes on to others, and it agitates others as well. And so the goal, this is the wonderful nature of pure devotees of Krishna. Like Ambarish Maharaj. There is this incident where, of course, Durvasa Muni is also a devotee of the Lord. And this whole pastime is arranged to inform the devotees about how this Titikshava Karunika Suhradam Sarvadehina Majata Shatrava Shanta, all those qualities that Ambarish Maharaj demonstrates directly, helps him. So this is where the Sudarshana Chakra comes in as well. So basically that story is when Ambarish Maharaj does the Ekadashi, and then the next day Durvasa Muni comes with his 1000 disciples, and he needs to be given something. So the advice given by the priest of Ambarish Maharaj is that he can take the water to break the fast and then give the food to Durvasa Muni and his 1000 disciples. So Ambarish Maharaj does that, but then Durvasa Muni he gets angry, and that has been generally the nature of Durvasa Muni that is shown in all these stories, is that he's getting angry quickly. So then he is kind of cursing him that this demon is coming out and he's going to kill you, Ambarish Maharaj. But then immediately the Sudarshan Chakra of Krishna that comes in, and that not only takes away the demon, but it starts going after Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni goes directly to Krishna and he says, I'm sorry for offending your devotee. But then Krishna says, go and ask forgiveness directly from Ambarish Maharaj. So this is that sadhava hridayam mayam sadhanam hridayam tva madanya tena janati naham tibhyo managapi. This relationship of extreme love between Krishna and his devotees. Krishna says, I am in their hearts fully, and they are in my hearts. I do not know anything other than me. They do not know anything other than me as well. So other than them, Krishna says. So this is that relation of reciprocity. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam stateva bhajamyam. Krishna says, whatever way one comes to me, I reciprocate to them in the same way. So here, it's interesting. So what way is Hiranyakashipu going to... Hiranyaksha here. Hiranyakashipu was with Narsimhadev. Hiranyaksha is here with Varahadev. So what way is Hiranyaksha coming to Varahadev? He wants to kill Varahadev, and he wants to be the supreme personality of Godhead, kind of thing. So he is getting that kind of treatment from Krishna in the form of Varahadev. So he's going with his gada and is rushing towards him, Sunaba, and just like when Sudarshan Chakra gets activated, it does its job immediately. There's no, immediately it can just take off that. So we see in the Shishupala story as well. Shishupal is given hundreds of chances to rectify himself. And finally, in the 101st, when that happens in the court, immediately the Sudarshan Chakra goes and takes him off. So this is the metaphor that is given here. Is rushing like that Sudarshan Chakra, immediate destruction. Sandipta, it's glowing like a Sudarshan Chakra, and it's fierce like a Sudarshan Chakra. And Manyu here means anger. So Varahadev is in that angry kind of mode where he just wants to finish Hiranyaksha in that second, and that happens immediately. So this is the wonderful pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, as Varahadeva, very beautifully described by Maitreya Muni to Vidura. And Srila Prabhupada actually mentions about the different Manu incarnations. There is a Chakshusha Manu and Swayambhuva Manu. And in the different Manu incarnations, the pastimes of Varahadeva were a little bit different. But Jiva Goswami is saying that Maitreya Muni summarized everything as one, in that sense, amalgamated both the both incarnations in different devastations and summarized them in his description to Mahatma Vidura. So, with this verse, Swadam Shrayodritya Mahim Nimagnam Sauthe Samruruche Rasayaha Tatrapi Daityam Gadaya Patantam Sunava Sandipta Tibra Manyo. Lord Boar very easily took the earth on his tusks and got it out of the water. Thus he appeared very splendid. Then his anger glowing like the Sudarshana wheel, he immediately killed the demon Hiranyaksha, although he tried to fight with the Lord. So with the prayers that these wonderful pastimes of the Lord, may they always be constantly there in our minds. I would like to conclude this verse. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Samaniti Namani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschyata Deshatarane. Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Krishne Matirastu. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.